When you drive through Kansas, all it is wheat. It's wheat. That's the way they are. When 40% of the wheat comes from them, and they're going to sanction them, so now everybody's crying about prices. They're crying about, they won't be able to, the world lives off of bread. Bread is the most common, okay, they can't cook bread. Okay, everybody's still buying Russian oil. And then they making everybody now pay it in rubles. So that boosts up the money. You know what I mean? You got to buy this in rubles. So then they money increased 12% in one day. Anyway, okay. Clean up, cook. Counter lies about Masjid al-Islam. We had, what we were doing, what we are doing, what we have done, is allow for history to catch up with where we are. Because if we go out, they can't see us and we can't see them. We'll get out of the, see, the people have to be able to see us, but they have to be able to see what we're doing. In other words, this is a teaching process. Yeah, it's a teaching process. If we get so far out in front of the people, the masses, they just, it won't compute. So we have to have a slowdown. We have to slow ourselves down. Like say this is 20 years ago. This is when all of this is, it's formulated, it's been formulated with a little bit of evolution and revolution and adjustments for that flyer I gave y'all from about 1985, 86, when they stole my accordion folders and all that. Okay. At that time, before then, we were doing standard movement stuff that we know we're going to be opposed by the government, but we were going and participating and developing, like that it will do whatever it do, but we'll be able to function as a movement. Okay, at that time, 86, that's 35, 36, something like that. That's a while back. We started reformulating because we had been infiltrated and sabotaged 2 cycles already. From 1980 to 1986, we had 2 cycles totally surrounded, the masjid full of tattletales, all that. We grew up with that. I mean, as a movement. Okay, so now some of the people have a good program and the program is correct. The only thing is they're out ahead of the people. The people haven't arrived at where they are. So what we did 20 years ago, if you saw some of our old articles, somewhere over the rainbow, we already out there. No, we ready. We already, in our last articles, you could see we ready to go, but you can't do it. You have to say, hold it, stop. You got to bring the people along. The whole idea is to bring the people along. Now everything we were saying then is common, it's acceptable, and the people have to stretch to get up where we are, but they still in their own body. They don't have to stretch so much they fall over. You see what I mean? In other words, to get where we are and what we're talking about right now in these, they have to stretch a little. They can't do what they usually do, but they have to stretch a little, but not so much that they're contorted, and not so far where they're so far out of their comfort zone that they're non-functional. They don't function. Okay, now, where we are now, where the movement is now, it's not only we're here, but the whole world is here. See, all of those allies, like, see, the U.S. forced us on, it made the people take this jump. It forced the people to make the jump. Okay, if they have everything that they do, so the Zionists can grab homes, they can do this, that, and other, they can kill Rachel Corrie and all these other people. So then now the common people are beginning to get aware. Right, now this is 20 years later when this stuff happened. Okay, they shot a little boy. His father, they was behind a thing, and and the father was further behind, and his 12-year-old son was covered a little bit, but the Zionists shot him. I don't know if you remember that. Shot the little boy. This is 20 years ago at least. And the father is just sitting there. This is all on film, and he's crying, and he wanted to reach to his son, and you could see the bullet. Psst, 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 and the little boy is, okay, now you got to remember, all of that stuff builds up in the people. You got to remember, anti-Zionism used to be a no-no. Right now, the people in Europe, the people everywhere, especially England and all them, hey man, why? They done messed over they people, this people, that people, and we are not by ourselves. That's what I mean. We had to wait. If we, 20 years ago, this is what this reminder is. And this is what we did. You can see we had to slow down. We was talking about, what was that stuff? Not psychological warfare, but we was talking about, I just mentioned it a minute ago, but we was talking about science fiction management. That's it, right? That was 15 years ago, right? That was 15 years ago. What does science fiction management mean? If we tell you this stuff, you're going to think we're crazy, and that's all it is. It ain't like that now. It's not like that now because everybody, see, is moving right along. The Negroes can see who the Zionists are. There are sister cities with cities in Palestine. Ferguson has a sister city with somebody, right? Everybody knows, okay, the United States, for them to talk about invading somebody, when they invaded Iraq twice, they done sanctioned Iran, they done sold weapons so the poor people, Libya, they wiped it off the map, you know what I mean, and made it a hellhole, right? Okay. And then they get up and talk about, oh, we're against invading other people and all that. And see, you got to remember, nobody challenged them in those days. They said, oh, well, we got it wrong, so we just killed all these people, destroyed their civilization. What the hell, right? Same thing with Syria. Oh, we just come in and blew up everything, and then we'll go home. And we'll take the oil and we'll give it to the people, our friends in Syria, right? They do see manifestation of defects mean that this stuff will eventually come up on the surface where it's not hidden. Emperor with no clothes, right? That's the way the United States is now. And do you watch that Indian news and other stuff? Man, they had a panel on that other day, and the old European man came out and said, they ain't doing this, that, and other. And everybody said, what? And then you could notice that everybody say the same thing we do now. You in Yemen, you done blew up everybody right now. And then, alhamdulillah, somebody done just hit old Saudis again yesterday, and uh, get ready to, so the oil prices, the destabilization. And it ain't us. Our team is suffering, but they rolling. And now, can you imagine for Iran to be by itself for all of those years and stick to what it was trying to do? Yeah, it don't have to be. So people say, "Ain't you mad, the Iranians?" I said, "Man, that's 5 or 10 or 6 Iranians. Look at what's you know, look at what's going on, you know." And as far as the Rahbar is concerned, we say the same thing. Sometimes he might say it a day before I say it, or a day after I done said it, right? But we all saying the same thing: resistance economy, and everybody realized wasn't nobody pushing resistance economy but the Rahbar and a few more people. And now everybody said, man, that was what's happening. And so Iran is independent. They produce everything they need, or most of it. Huh?
Yeah, that's what Russia is saying. They're going to prepare for some type of resistance economy.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, man, look. And then they make it see like this one, we always use this thing like they used to say, like, this is a trip. It's really a trip. This is like interesting. You know what I mean? I can't wait to get back. Let me see what's on the news. Oh, my goodness, they just did this and all. They said that. And then, Indian news is kind of like Pakistani news. When I spent time in Iran, the news at that time, it's better now, but it was the party line kind of stuff. But you go next door to Pakistan, see every group have a newspaper and a news channel, and boy, it was exciting. I mean, and they be pie, where they throw pies in each other's face and all that. That's the way it is in Pakistan. And India is their neighbor, and they are all very close. You ever notice how the Indian news is? And if they don't like somebody, they don't even pretend at all. Like that nice looking lady, boy, she talks so good about some stuff, but when she get on China and when she get on Pakistan, I said, that's the linest woman in the world. How could she look so nice and be such well, I mean, I know her, but I'm just, boy, that is the fattest lie. And they do it normally. You know what I mean? But and they scandal mongers, they scandal sheet news, but when they hit it right, like now, and then they be hollering a lot. You ever see they be hollering and turning over the table? You shut up, you can't do this. I said, boy, let me get me some Indian news. So I really kind of, but what are they? No, we're with the Soviet, we're with Russia. Russia was with us, da 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 da. And then almost like all that, because they thought they had India in their back pocket. It don't look like it to me. Man, I don't know. When they get, you know how people flip. When they flip all the way over. And if you take the world, if you take China, 1.4 billion people, you take India, 1.2 or 3 billion people, you take Russia, 8 time zones, 8 time zones, and several hundred million people. You basically got all of that world, and all of them got friends. You see what I mean? Now, okay, I know we've been talking about it all the time, but this is the manifestation of defects. This one is it. And we've been talking for several months about this. Stuff is getting a little close. I mean, these incidents is getting close together, and they're big. This is a big event, Okay. That's what we're still on the front page there. Go clean up, cook, counter lies about Islam. This thing about you can't get so far out in the front of the people where they can't see you is what we've been dealing with. That you can't get so far out there in front of the people that you're not relating to the people's lives, and that's why we had to slow down. We've been on this otherworldism stuff for a long time, but we had to pause. And in that pause, we use all of this period to train and retrain redundancy. You know what I mean? And that's why all the terms we use is because out of the right thing to do and out of necessity.